Hello, it's me Dinesh Jha. I'm your science teacher of NPABSAN. Today I'm going to describe and talk about classification of elements. One thing you have been already learned in the previous class about the atom classification of element on the basis of sub blocks, that is SPDFs. Okay, now in the class 10 I'm going to studying you about classification of the elements. Introduction of classification of element, history of the classification of element, contribution of the different scientists that had been made in the classification of elements, and other things, and the periodic table and the position of different metals, non-metals, metalloids. Okay, so first I start with the introduction. At the very beginning, around mid 16th century, there was no idea about the elements and the chemicals, and that was disorganized, and classification of elements was non-existent. But at that time, only there are different scientists, different chemists try to attempt and try to classify the substances. But at that time, only substances are classified into solid, liquid, gas, that is metal and non-metal. That is not enough sufficient to summarize the substances, and that is not easy to study the properties of the substances. And later in the 19th century, there was a lot of information is available in that time, and many scientists, and that was Lothar Meyer, Newland, Leibnizer, etc. Made the contribution towards the classification of the element. And the first scientist, that was Leibnizer, who first attempt to classify the element. At his time, there were only 32 elements was available, and he tried to summarize the elements, and his summarized elements, his classified, was not enough and unbalanced, because he only his classification, there were many elements were put in the metal groups and few are non-metals, but there are where some metalloids are also present. Okay, after that times, John Dalton, very first scientist who termed the atom, and later he made atom theory. Then after, a Russian teacher's sons, whose name is Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev, who first tried to classify the element. At his time, there were 63 elements. Were available, and the only property of that elements were atomic weight. So he attempts and try to summarize the property of element, and he set a principle that, and when he tried to study the property of element in the isolated term, okay, then some of certain elements having property similar is reoccurred and appeared to be same, and that leads to the basis of basis of Mendeleev periodic table, and at the basis of classification of the element. Okay. First, I tell you that what is the classification of element. Classification, dividing the elements in different group according to their similarity and dissimilarity properties is called classification. Okay, what you learned, try to understand. I'm telling you that classification is the dividing the elements in the group according to their similarity and dissimilarity with their properties. It's called classification of the element. Moreover, I'm going to tell you about periodic table, where different elements are summarized, and we have easy that made easy to study the informations, and that were made easy to study the information. Okay. So what is periodic table? Periodic table, a chart or table of the element arranged in row and column according to their physical and chemical properties, is called periodic table. Okay, now, so first you try to understand about the classification of element and the periodic table. I hope you understand that the periodic table is a chart or the table to show and arranged and summarize the property of element into row and column. Okay, according to their physical properties. Now I am going to tell you about uses of periodic table. Periodic table, it gives a clear and distinct classification of almost all the elements. What it gives the clear and distinct classification of almost all the atoms. That means when you see the periodic table, you easily study the information about given element, about the element. What are the properties that you learn from the periodic table? You can know about the symbol of that element. You can know about the atomic weight of that element. You can know exact place of that element in the periodic table. Okay, you can know and you also predict the new element and undiscovered element that will be discovered in the future time. Okay, so that's all the uses of element. Okay, point wise, it gives a clear and distinct classification of almost all the elements. Okay, and then after it helps for the prediction of new element. I have already told you that you can also predict the new element that is undiscovered, but later that discovered and that is kept in the same position where its similar elements are kept in that group and at the column. It is possible to describe the simple properties of the element from the periodic table. By the help of periodic table, we are able to describe. We know the information about the elements and describe about their physical and chemical properties, their atomic weight, and many more. Along with it displays the atomic number. I have already told you that atomic weight, symbol, and the name of the element, along with the information about the structure of their atom. Okay. Now I'm going to describe about the 1869th century, a very genius mind, a very intelligent mind, Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev, who first made a periodic table and the properties of elements of their physical and chemical properties are summarized in a column. Okay, and you can see the model. We can see Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, here you can see Mendeleev periodic table. Okay, first, how Mendeleev made his periodic table? What are the basis of his periodic table? What are the principles that said to make his periodic table? Mendeleev first isolates the certain elements and try to study about their properties, and he found that certain of the elements, that properties are reoccurred after and or definite some interval in a vertical column. Okay, so how he arranged? The big question is here. Randomly arranged or some principal set to be arranged and principal set, and that made what the principle? Okay, first you learned Mendeleev arranged elements according to their increase in atomic weight after a definite certain interval. Similar properties of elements are reoccurred in the same column, and he set a principle, he set a table, and he made a Mendeleev periodic table. What are the Mendeleev periodic table? What are the Mendeleev periodic table? Mendeleev periodic table, the chart or a table in which elements are arranged according to their atomic weight property, physical and chemical properties of atomic weight. What is a Mendeleev periodic table? Okay, once again, a chart or the table in which elements are arranged in a row and column according to their increase in atomic weight. How Mendeleev arranged? Increase in atomic weight. He put the lowest atomic weight first, then after second, then after third, in the same as increasing. First, hydrogen, that atomic weight is the lowest ever of the given elements. Then after, helium. Okay, that atomic weight is 4. Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. Okay, so you can see in the periodic table, elements are arranged according to their increase in atomic weight. That clarify that. Okay, once you see the periodic table, you found that the atomic weight of hydrogen is 1.01. Okay, that is the lowest atomic weight of the element. Where then after he put in a column helium, whose atomic weight is 4, and then after lithium, whose atomic weight is 6.94, then after 9.01, likewise 10.8, that is boron, carbon 12, nitrogen 14, oxygen 16, fluorine 19. So you might be clear. I hope you understand the basic principle of Mendeleev periodic table. What is the Mendeleev periodic table? And now I am going to Mendeleev's periodic law. What? Mendeleev's periodic law. Okay, basic principle is changed into law, and the Mendeleev periodic table is stated that the physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic weight. Okay, the physical and chemical properties of elements are the properties of their atomic weight. Okay, I show you slide later. First I will describe totally about the Mendeleev periodic table, then after I show you slide and again I explained you. Okay, periodic table. First, what are the main features of periodic table? That is what you seen, what you observed from the periodic table of the Mendeleev's. Okay, the main feature of periodic table. The main feature of periodic table. The main features of the periodic of the Mendeleev periodic table. Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, the main features of Mendeleev periodic table. Okay, so what are the main features of the Mendeleev periodic table? That means that what you observed when you see the Mendeleev periodic table, what the information that you find, what the basic of that table. Okay, the main feature of Mendeleev periodic table. The main feature of Mendeleev periodic tables are here. First, the main feature of the elements have been arranged in a horizontal rows in such a way that similar properties of the element after definite interval falls in a same column, that is group. Okay, once again, Mendeleev, the given elements have been arranged in such a way that the elements are arranged in a horizontal row. Okay, in such a way that after a definite interval, after a regular interval, similar properties of the elements fall in the same column, that is called group. Okay, similar properties. Okay, you can see here it's a zero group, and zero group belongs to the inert case. That octet and duplet is completed, that do not take part in chemical reaction. And likewise you can see I group, that is the group of alkali, and that groups include in the Mendeleev periodic table lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. Okay, that is the group of alkali group. Okay, property of lithium is similar as the property of sodium, and the property of sodium is similar as the property of lithium, but the properties are varied when you move horizontal from left to right. That is, no property is matched hydrogen and lithium. Helium and lithium. Helium is an inert gas, lithium is a metal, alkali metal. Why that metal is called alkali metal? The question that arises in your mind. Okay, that question is arising in your mind. The questions have been arising in your mind, should be arising in your mind. What are the alkali metal? The metal which combines with water to give their hydroxide, and that easily dissolved in water. The metal which is easily dissolved in water is called alkali metal. Okay. Okay. So what you understand from the first feature of the mainly periodic table? You should understand that. Okay. Main leaves arrange the elements in the horizontal row after the certain interval. The similar properties of elements fall in the same column called group. Okay. Then after vertical column is called group, horizontal rows is called period. When you move in the period from left to right, the variation of properties of elements are occurred that appeared. I have already told you that here you can easily identify helium and lithium. Okay, helium is an inert gas, whereas the lithium is a metal. Then after beryllium, reactivity it changes. Boron, that is metallite. Carbon, non-metal. Nitrogen, non-metal. Oxygen, non-metal. And fluorine are non-metal. Okay, that is the first feature of the Mendeleev periodic table. Okay, then after second feature of the Mendeleev periodic table, Mendeleev's divide his periodic table into 9 group and 7 period. Into 9 group and 7 period. Okay, Mendeleev divides his periodic table into 9 group and 7 period. The groups are 1 to 8 that you count in the periodic table. Okay, let you see I, triple I, IV, V, VI, VII and V triple I are the 8 group, and addition of 0 group is total group is 9 and 7 period. Okay. Likewise, moreover, the main features also. One of the main features, I have told you that there are 2 main features. Already told you that. First one, element having arranged in a row in such a way that similar properties of element are false in the same group. Okay, vertical column called the group. Okay, and second, I told you that there are 9 group and 7 periods in the Mendeleev periodic table. 9 group and 7 period. Okay, you can see in the slide, you can see in the board. Okay, and last but not the least, I want to say that he prediction of new element or undiscovered element. In the Mendeleev periodic table, some gaps are left for the undiscovered periodic table. In the Mendeleev periodic table, what? Some gaps are left. If the given table is a Mendeleev periodic table, then some gaps are left for the undiscovered element that might be discovered later and which is already discovered in the modern periodic table. Okay, so what is the third features of the Mendeleev periodic table? The third features of Mendeleev periodic tables is prediction of new element. New elements are already predicted by the Mendeleev in his periodic table. Okay, here that gap is fulfilled. This is the modified form of Mendeleev periodic form table. You can see in your book. When you see in your book 4.1, 2, 3 and 4 vacant space is left in your periodic table. Okay, and 4 vacant space is first boron, Ika boron. What? Ika boron. Ika boron. Second is Ika silicon. Sorry. Ika aluminum. Ika aluminum. Third is Ika silicon, and fourth is Ika manganese. Okay, I am describing you about the third point and the third features of the Mendeleev's periodic table. What are they? Some gaps are left in the Mendeleev periodic table, that is undiscovered. Okay. What are they? Ika boron, the element who discovered later, which is similar to the boron, and second space, that is Ika aluminum. Third space, that is Ika silicon, that is similar properties with the silicon, and the Ika manganese, which properties is similar properties with the manganese.